What do you make of these numbers?
I think the set of data will increase people's concern or the market's concern for the health of the Chinese economy. As you mentioned, the headline coming down, nothing in terms of services, and the bit of improvement in the manufacturing sector is really reflecting more working days in June rather than any underlying improvement. And if we look into the details, there are more worries.
Some of the employment bits are very bad, actually.
Yeah, you're right. And the weakness really mostly comes from the demand side. The demand is firmly in contraction, particularly export demand, and smaller firms are suffering more. They are contracting at a faster pace. And what I find particularly concerning is the slow pace of construction activity. That's suggesting that despite the fact the government is putting a lot of money in big infrastructure projects, that's not sufficient or finding it pretty challenging to offset the weakness in the housing sector.
Chang, we talk about how the PMI data is actually weak. It is in contraction. Yet, when you take a look at Chinese assets today, there is some support. Both the CSI 300 in positive territory, and of course that weakness in the yuan pretty much being put a lid today. I mean, how do you make sense of this, and how will the policymakers respond? What kind of stimulus then can be expected?
Yeah. Maybe the market is expecting stimulus, and we certainly expect there will be more positive, more policy support. Certainly there will be something, we expect something to be on the monetary side. After the June policy rate cut, we see further triple cuts and policy cuts both in the third quarter and fourth quarter. On the fiscal side, we do expect more fiscal support, but in what form is not very clear. It would be helpful. We've been talking a lot about this weak, fragile sentiment in the private sector. It would be helpful that some of the big spending on infrastructure can be reorientated to direct support for the households and vulnerable small private firms. That would be helpful, but it's not very clear at this point what the government will do and how the government will provide, what sort of form to provide fiscal support.